Major political or economic event. Radio Algeria International, our voice in the world.
This is the English service of Radio Algeria International. It's time for the news.
The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, has arrived at the Palais of the Culture, Mufti Zakaria, here in Algiers, to chair a presentation on the strategic vision for the development and modernization of the capital. Foreign Minister Ahmed Attaf was received in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, by the Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed Ali as part of the official visit he is making in his capacity as Special Envoy for the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune. The Arab Parliament has called for an international action to put an end to the violations carried out by the Israeli occupation in Syria, accusing it of exploiting the situation to grasp further territories. Those were the major developments. Now the full news edition. Good afternoon. The President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, has arrived at the Palais de la Culture Mufti Zakaria here in Algiers to chair a presentation on the strategic vision for the development and modernization of the capital. The presentation was also attended by senior state officials, members of the government, and the Wali or Governor of Algiers. The development and modernization strategy for the capital includes a number of modern projects reflecting the cultural and civilizational heritage of the country's capital. Some of these projects are already underway, while others will be completed in the short to medium term. The state has mobilized substantial resources to implement this strategy, which aims to place the country's capital among the world's great capitals. The Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, the National Community Abroad and African Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, was received in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, by the Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed Ali as part of the official visit he is making in his capacity as Special Envoy of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune. On the occasion, the Foreign Minister Ahmed Attaf handed in the Ethiopian Prime Minister a message from President Tebboune conveying his greetings and expressing his will to pursue joint efforts to raise relations between Algeria and Ethiopia to the highest level. The meeting provided an opportunity to discuss the strong ties between the two countries based on the close coordination and fruitful cooperation, as well as developments in the situation in Africa, notably in the regions to which both countries belong. The President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, has chaired a meeting on exports at the headquarters of the Presidency with the participation of senior officials of the trade sector. Following the meeting, the Minister of Foreign Trade and Export Promotion, Mohamed Boukhali, said the meeting was an opportunity to take stock of investment projects and their exportation potential and to listen to the concerns of economic operators.
The meeting was fruitful as it was an opportunity to know about the projects of economic operators and listen to their concerns. The meeting was marked by firm guidelines from the President of the Republic to immediately deal with all these concerns and to adopt a new strategic vision to make of our country a pole for exportation, and on our part we commit to do all necessary work to achieve this goal.
Meanwhile, the President of the Algerian Economic Renewal Council, Kamel Moula, said the meeting made it possible to draw up a roadmap aimed at promoting the economic and exportation sectors.
The President of the Republic was firm and he has taken strong decisions to ensure the efficient support on the ground and to end all restrictions and obstacles faced by economic operators, notably in the sector of exports, as there is a great potential that allows us to remarkably boost and increase our exports despite the absence of some exportation mechanisms, and I found this meeting very fruitful.
Let's note that the meeting took place in the presence of members of the government, heads of economic enterprises, and a delegation from the Algerian Economic Renewal Council. The members of the Organization of Arab Petroleum Exporting Countries have agreed to restructure the organization, rewrite its founding agreement, develop its activities, and change its name to the Arab Energy Organization. A press release of the ministry said the decision was taken at the 130th meeting of the Organization of Arab Petroleum Exporting Countries Council of Ministers held in Kuwait and attended by the Minister of State, Minister of Energy and Mines and Renewable Energies, Mohammed Arqab. The decision will enable the organization's General Secretariat to continue its effort to develop OPEC's activities. The decisions will be implemented in accordance with the regulatory procedures of each member country and taken following a meticulous study and overall assessment of the developments and challenges facing the energy sector at national, regional and international levels, notably in the recent years as the accelerated changes in the sector have made it necessary to review and develop the organization's activities to include all areas relating to the energy sector. The action aims to promote the organization's role as a catalyst for cooperation and the exchange of expertise between member countries on energy-related issues, to explore the opportunities and meet the challenges facing the vital sector while contributing to the development of the skills and national capacities of the member states in a sector considered a pillar for the economies. The organization's General Secretariat said it would work to implement all the points of the organization's development plan in the near future, hailing the support of the member countries represented by the Ministers of Energy and Petroleum and the Ministers of the organization's Executive Bureau. The National People's Assembly is taking part in the parliamentary process of the Internet Governance Forum, which is being held in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Asya Bikkar has the details in this report.
The National People's Assembly will be represented at this event organized by the Interparliamentary Union and the Saudi Shura Council or Consultative Council in partnership with the UN Department of Economic and Social Affairs from December 16th to 18th by a delegation comprising the chairman of the Legal Affairs, Administrative Affairs and Freedoms Committee, Hisham Sifar, and MP Brajil Wardi. Under the slogan Building Our Multi-Stakeholder Digital Future, the IGF aims to facilitate discussions on key digital policy issues such as artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, data governance, and digital cooperation, while focusing on collaboration between governments, the private sector, civil society, and technical stakeholders. MPs are among the most important parties in the IGF, as the parliamentary process offers them an essential platform for exchanging views on the challenges and opportunities of digital policies. It also allows them to interact directly with experts from different sectors, strengthening their ability to draft legislation and exercise their oversight role in line with growing digital demands.
You're still listening to Radio Algeria International. The head of the Moroccan Human Rights Association, Aziz Ghali, has affirmed that his association's position vis-à-vis the Western Sahara issue was clear regarding the Sahrawi people's right to self-determination, as already confirmed by the United Nations. Addressing the press, he reiterated his association's support to a negotiated solution between the parties at issue, namely Morocco and the Polisario Front.
The position of our association regarding the Sahara is clear. For instance, during the 5th Congress, the association's position was in support of self-determination. Then the negotiations started between Morocco and the Front. Our position favors a negotiated and mutually acceptable solution to prevent the region from war. Our position is similar to the UN's position. We will respect any outcome of the negotiations and mutually accepted settlement, because for us it is the legal reference, the reference of the UN, which provides for negotiations.
Let's note that the Moroccan human rights defender said there were other members of the UN Security Council who support the negotiated settlement, to the contrary of France and the US, although the latter has not yet taken a clear-cut position on the issue. The Arab Parliament has called for an international action to put an end to the violations carried out by the Israeli occupation in Syria, accusing it of exploiting the situation to grasp further territories. Addressing a meeting in Cairo, the head of the Arab Parliament urged the international community to take urgent measures to condemn and stop such violations. The Arab Parliament urged the Syrian parties to safeguard the state's institutions, to give the priority to Syria's supreme interest, advocating dialogue as a means of meeting the requirements of such a critical phase of their history. Meanwhile, in Syria, the UN Special Envoy to Syria, Geir Pedersen, has called for an immediate and increased aid to Syria, which he said is going through a major humanitarian crisis. The UN envoy spoke out in favor of a rapid lifting of sanctions to pave the way for reconstruction of Syria, stressing the necessity to launch a political process to include and to be carried out by the Syrians. In Sudan, at least 20 civilians have been killed and 20 others injured in a drone attack on a neighborhood in the city of El Fasher in the center of North Darfur state. Asia Bekar has more details in this report.
Local sources said that a drone belonging to the Rapid Paramilitary Support Forces fired 4 high-explosive missiles on the neighborhood of Awlad Arif in central Al Fasher last night. The attack caused the death of more than 20 people and the serious injury of more than 20 others. Meanwhile, the International Migration Organization announced the displacement of 70 families from Al Fasher due to the ongoing clashes between the army and the Rapid Support Forces in the eastern and southern districts of Al Fasher. The UN agency added that 1,000 families have been displaced from the city of Kabkabiya in the state of North Darfur due to the airstrikes on the city. Since May, violent clashes between the Sudanese army and the Rapid Support Forces have been waged in Al Fasher, the capital of the province of North Darfur in the west of the country. Sudan has been in the grip of devastating conflict between the two sides since mid-April 2023. The conflict has left more than 27,000 dead and some 14 million displaced, either inside or outside the country.
South Korea's Constitutional Court is holding an initial meeting to discuss the timetable for the impeachment proceedings against the President Yoon Suk-yeol, deposed by Parliament for his failed attempt to impose martial law. The Constitutional Court has around 6 months to rule on the validity of the impeachment motion adopted by MPs recently, which suspended the 63-year-old leader and sanctioned the brief martial law on the night of December 3rd to December 4th. If confirmed, Mr. Yoon will be deposed and a presidential election will have to be held within 2 months. The winner would be sworn in the day after the result without the usual transition period. During the period of up to 8 months, Prime Minister Han Duck-soo will act as interim Prime Minister. He has pledged to do his utmost to ensure the stable governance of the country. Shortly after the vote, the President of the Court, Moon Young-bae, promised a swift and fair procedure. As 6 votes are required to confirm an impeachment, an unanimous ruling will be needed to remove Yoon Suk-yeol, the leader of the People's Power Party. Han Dong-yeon announced his resignation, offering his sincere apologies to all those who have suffered as a result of the martial law. Algeria is celebrating today the 68th anniversary of the creation of the Algerian secret radio, considered the precursor of the Algerian radio. On December 16, 1956, aware of the role of the media in countering the influence of the colonizing media, the leaders of the National Liberation Front, FLN, gave birth to a radio station, the Voice of Free and Fighting Algeria, Sawt al-Jazair al-Muqafiha, which on the western border of Algerian territory broadcast its first message on air. The latter was followed by 16 other radio stations across the Arab world, from Cairo to Baghdad, Benghazi, Damascus and Rabat, but also countries in Eastern Europe. This network strongly contributed to publicize the demands of the Algerian cause. With this last piece of news comes the end of our news bulletin. Stay tuned on Radio Algeria International.
Hello and welcome to our weekly program devoted to Algerian economic news. First in the news, the Hydrocarbons Regulatory Authority, HRA, has been elected Vice President of the Association of Mediterranean Energy Regulators, MEDREG, allowing Algeria to strengthen its strategic role in the field of energy regulation, said the authority in a statement. This election took place during the 38th MEDREG General Assembly held in Brussels in the presence of the President of the HRA, Rachid Nedil, representatives of the regulators, members of the association, experts, institutional actors from the Mediterranean region, and representatives of the European Commission. The national airlines company Air Algérie has signed a partnership agreement with Turkish Airlines for code sharing between the two airlines, offering Air Algérie customers the possibility of traveling to new destinations in Turkey, Asia and Africa, said a press release from the national public carrier. On this occasion, Air Algérie underlined its commitment to strengthen cooperation in order to improve the quality of services and increase efficiency with a view to meeting customers' aspirations and enriching the prospects of air transport in Algeria. The chairman and chief executive officer CEO of the national energy company Sonelgaz, Mourad Adjel, has received in Algiers a delegation from the German energy company Siemens Energy, led by the managing director in charge of the Middle East and Africa region, Dietmar Zierdorfer, with whom he agreed to set up a working group to examine new areas of partnership between the two parties. This meeting, which is part of a program to strengthen Sonelgaz's external relations and partnership, resulted in an agreement on the creation of a joint working group responsible initially for examining and studying new areas of partnership between Sonelgaz and the German company, and to define the forms and areas of cooperation, reads a press release from the public group. In more Algerian economic news, the Minister of State, Minister of Energy, Mines and Renewable Energies, Mohamed Arkab, has received a delegation from the Chinese company Sinopec International Energy Investment, led by its managing director Shuwei Weizong, with whom he examined investment opportunities in Algeria, notably in the field of hydrocarbons and petrochemicals, according to a press release from the ministry. On this occasion, the two parties reviewed the state of cooperation and partnership relations between the two groups, Sonatrach and Sinopec, highlighting their solidity and strategic importance. A memorandum of understanding has been signed in the province of Tipaza between the Sonatrach Group and the Directorate General of Forests concerning a large-scale reforestation project over a period of 10 years to plant more than 423 million trees across the country, with a view to creating certified natural carbon sinks as part of the public group's climate strategy. The Memorandum of Understanding was signed by the Central Director of the HSE, Health, Safety and Environment of Sonatrach, Abdelkarim Wamar, and the Inspector General of the DGF, Nijma Rahmani, in the presence of the CEO of Sonatrach, Rashid Hashishi, and the Governor of the province of Tipaza, Ali Moulay. The chairman and CEO of the National Energy Group, Sonatrach, Rashid Hashishi, has said that the project to plant 423 million seedlings, launched on Wednesday in Tipaza, will enable the state-owned group to reduce its carbon footprint and enhance the value of its products on international markets. Rashid Hashishi added that this project will enable Sonatrach to generate carbon credits, which will help us prove that Algerian products have a very low carbon footprint and will be more valuable on the international market. And to wind up our program, the Minister of Agriculture, Rural Development and Fisheries, Youssef Sherfa, has said in Boumerdès that his department is currently examining a project to create a national network of small and medium-sized cold storage rooms. In a statement to the press on the sidelines of his working visit and inspection in the province, the minister explained that the creation of this national network was important and urgent, underlining that it will allow producers to market their products with ease and to contribute to the support of the national regulatory framework for products that may be subject to market shortages, including potatoes, onions, garlic and meat. And with this we come to the end of our weekly program devoted to Algerian economic news. Take care and bye-bye for now.
To travel back in time and learn about the most prominent events that marked human history, no need for a time machine. Echoes of Time with our colleague Mariam Bershi is your only address. A program broadcast to you every week on Radio Algeria International.
Welcome to Echoes of Time, the program where we travel across centuries to uncover the defining moments that shaped human civilization. I'm your host, Mariam Bershi, and today we're stepping into the Yamato period of Japanese history, spanning roughly from the 3rd to the 7th centuries. This era is a cornerstone of Japan's history, marking the transition from fragmented tribal societies to a unified political state under the rule of the Yamato clan. It is a time when myth meets history and the foundations of modern Japan were laid. Let's begin our journey back in time. To understand the Yamato period, let's first set the stage. Before this era, Japan was a land of independent clans, or uji, each controlling their own territories. These clans worshipped their own local kami, or spirits, and had no central authority to unite them. The rise of the Yamato clan changed everything. Based in what is now Nara Prefecture, the Yamato clan gained power through a combination of military strength, alliances, and control over fertile agricultural lands. By the 4th century, they had established dominance over other clans in the region. What gave the Yamato clan their unique authority was their claim to divine lineage. They asserted that their rulers were direct descendants of Amaterasu, the Shinto sun goddess. This claim not only legitimized their rule, but also helped them unify disparate tribes under a single spiritual and political framework. During the Yamato period, the rulers didn't rely solely on divine claims to maintain power. They were also skilled diplomats and military strategists. One of the Yamato state's most effective strategies was forming alliances with other powerful clans. Marriage was a key tool in this process. By intermarrying with other uji, the Yamato rulers solidified their influence and created a network of loyalty that extended across much of central and western Japan. But alliances were not always peaceful. The Yamato state often used military force to subdue rival clans. Evidence from coffin tombs, which contain weapons and armor, suggests that warfare was a common part of life during this period. By the 5th century, the Yamato rulers had established themselves as the central authority in Japan, with other clans recognizing their supremacy. This marked the beginning of Japan's first unified state. One of the defining features of the Yamato period was Japan's growing interaction with the Asian continent, particularly with China and Korea. These relationships were instrumental in shaping the Yamato state. From Korea, the Yamato rulers adopted critical technologies such as iron tools, advanced agricultural techniques, and horse riding skills. These innovations not only improved productivity, but also strengthened their military capabilities. From China, the Yamato rulers received even greater influence. By the 5th century, Japanese envoys were traveling to Chinese courts, and Chinese culture began to leave its mark on Japan. One of the most significant imports was the Chinese writing system. The introduction of kanji revolutionized governance by allowing the Yamato rulers to record laws, communicate more effectively, and strengthen their administration. Imagine the transformative impact of writing. For the first time, the Yamato state could issue decrees and record history, establishing a sense of continuity and structure that unified their people. Another major influence was Buddhism. which arrived in Japan from the Korean kingdom of Baekje in the mid-6th century. Initially met with resistance, it was eventually embraced by the Yamato rulers as a means of enhancing their prestige and aligning themselves with continental powers. Buddhism would go on to play a central role in Japanese culture, but during the Yamato period it coexisted with Shinto, the indigenous belief system. This blend of traditions became a hallmark of Japanese spirituality. The Yamato period is often referred to as the